Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, and welcome to 2022. A happy new year to all of you, and welcome back to Doc Talks. This episode is number 81, if I haven't miscounted, and there are quite a lot of topics that I want to talk about. And one of you guys can earn herself or himself a pinned post if you provide us with the timestamps for the various different topics. It's a little bit of a community task. Let's talk about the new year, what it will bring to the channel. Then I want to talk about a huge topic that I finally seem to have been able to solve with the help of a friend of mine, and that is the desynchronization issues that plagued my video production for a very long time actually, and the hilarious way of solving that issue. Then also, as you can see in the background, I want to talk about the Scharnhorst. While you can use this video as a podcast, the videos and a little bit of gameplay will be interesting and has some relaxing pace to it, I shall say. Then I might revisit the MiG-23MF and why that is, and then how this is together with the discussion that I had about one of the real-life topics that I shared with you in the community tab of YouTube, and how that is going on, what that has to do with quote-unquote a gaming channel. And then obviously I want to answer the questions from last year's last Duck Talks, and I think that's it. So let's jump right into the topics. So again, a happy new year to all of you, and let's see what 2020 brings to all of us, or for all of us. Make it count, boys and girls, and let's hope that the conditions will become better this year regarding Corona. And what does this have to do with the video gaming channel that you're currently watching and enjoying, hopefully? Well, video production might drop. Let me give you the TLDR version, the very short version. Last year I did my Master of Science. I did my master's degree in applied chemistry. Now I'm a chemical engineer, and I'm very proud of this. And you might have noticed that the video production in summer dropped drastically because I was just writing, night shifts, day shifts, whatever, and I had no energy, I had no time and no interest in making videos. I was really focusing on the task at hand, and it was a lot of work. It was very exhausting, but also a very interesting time. Now, when it comes to the experimental sites, at the start I was really busy building up my own laboratory from scratch, basically, and I was also limited by basically the cool down of my experiments, because it was run at very high temperature, and it had to cool down naturally to basically room temperature. And there was a lot of time where there was absolutely nothing to do for me, and I could basically play War Thunder. And my boss was not interested how I do the stuff, but that the stuff gets done. And that was very exciting. And so I'm still with the company to bring the project basically to production levels. So also pretty cool. But that will be over in like 2 months' time after schedule. And there is a new contract ready to be signed with another company with much better payments, and also much better working conditions, etc., etc. So that is what I did the master degree for, right? But the problem is actual working hours, and after an actual day of working I also realized I have to look after my health, so a bit of sport it has to be, and I also want to go outside more and more. So hopefully I will find some quiet places to go fishing, and a bit more running, to keep up the health. So yeah, I don't know how much time I will have in the future for War Thunder. I don't want to give up for it, but my priorities, they have to shift. And so that you don't really get surprised by the video level maybe dropping. But we will see. So that is topic number 1. That brings us to topic number 2, the actual problems with video production. Some of you might have noticed some desynchronizations over the years with between the video footage and the video sound, and that was not just only when I had to render the video, but also in the cutting, etc., I realized that there is some desynchronization. And I was obsessed with the thought that this was a problem with the recording software. And so basically, I tried out various different things. Maybe the PC was a bit too busy with the settings, so I downscaled even to 2K, which looked absolutely terrible on my screen. I also was trying out VSync. I was trying out going lower with the quality settings, etc., and everything helped a little bit here and there. On 2 different PCs I had the problems, mind you. So with both I was recording with Shadowplay, and I also have with both Sony Vegas Pro 15, and I thought it's Shadowplay because Shadowplay made some problems. There is also the hilarious fact that with Shadowplay it randomly turned off, and it turns out that with me it was when I was watching on the second screen Netflix, right, while grinding, that it just turned off, and only when I closed Netflix I could activate Shadowplay again. So apparently Netflix went to Shadowplay or Nvidia and said, hey, we don't want you to record, even though I wanted to record the other screen and I didn't want to record anything from Netflix. But that's just a side anecdote. What I wanted to say is that I had this massive desynchronization, and yeah, VSync helped a little bit because it synchronizes the in-game FPS with the refresh rate of your screen, and that alone brought a little bit of an improvement, not gonna lie. So I thought that this would be an easy fix, but I realized, yeah, it was not completely solving the problem. So I was further investigating it, and hilariously enough, it was not Shadowplay, believe it or not, it was Sony Vegas Pro, because Sony Vegas Pro couldn't handle variable FPS, and that was the reason why switching to VSync on brought a little bit of an improvement in the first place. So there it was, and this was with the help of my good friend Exe that we solved this problem together, mostly he. And yeah, now you're enjoying a desynchronization free episode of Dub Talks, and it was a fix where you really had to know what you're doing, and you had to press special keys in order to activate in program hidden features, whatever. Really strange. And yeah, it was Sony Vegas Pro. And yeah, I still have VSync on because it is also better for me to play on this 4K screen with it. And that on 2 different gaming PCs, mind you. So there is that. And that brings us to the Scharnhorst as topic number 3. So when it comes to the Scharnhorst, I'm in an absolute love-hate relationship with this ship. And it's, to make it really quick, a completely different flavor to all the other big hitters such as the Huger, the Marlborough, and any of the Russian battleships. And it is significantly more enjoyable than some other battleships, you know, the old battle cruisers, HMS Invincible, or the American battleships. It has some nice secondaries, it has AA, the armor is really great, and the very best thing about the ship are the torpedoes. But then we come to the guns. Gun handling is excellent, and it's only the shells that let down the firepower to be outright amazing. And very often it takes several minutes to sink a cruiser, not just one salvo. Except if you shoot at German cruisers, because their MRX love to explode. So it's really weird, and I'm convinced that something's wrong with this ship's sap round. I think the fuse is a bit off. So further, yeah, it is the guns. Now you might say, yeah, there are only 11-inch guns compared to Hugo's 14-inch guns. Obviously they are less capable. Yeah, but it's not the penetration power, it's the TNT bursting charge. And that is also surprising, because sometimes it's worse than the German World War I shells. It's amazing. Even I think the Graf Spee has more TNT in some of its shells. So there is that. But what I try to say is that it's the amazing difference to the 12-inch guns from the Russians with their amazing Sepran. And that's the deal, because this ship needs to switch between the various different ammo types regarding the target, but mostly AP is the deal maker, whereas Imperatrice, Maria, all the Russian battleships, the Hugo, the Marlborough, etc., they fire SAP if available, researched, etc. And SAP really bypasses by some miracle the armor, or still punches through, and it deals just so much more damage. So if the TNT equivalent is 4 times higher, or even more than 4 times higher with the Hugo or the Marlborough than with this ship's shells, you can have a DPM that is, yeah, 50% higher. It doesn't really make the difference, because if you shoot with the Scharnhorst at normal cruisers, you have to hit them with repeated salvos to actually put them underwater. Yes, you will kill them, but it takes you so much longer, whereas a Hugo or Marlborough, they just look at the ship, pull the trigger, SAP hits, enemy cruiser either outright explodes or sinks, and that is the frustrating part. Yeah, by the way, also the AA of this ship, surprisingly enough, sucks. The 105s don't have proxy fuse, they're massively underlead, and the 37s are actually single shot guns. I'm not kidding, single shot. And then on top of this, they also have the 20 millimeters, which don't have the range nor the stopping power to defend you from planes. So this is a ship that, while being one of the most modern ships in the game at the moment, when it comes to capital ships, still can be completely, utterly destroyed by bombs from planes that fly in a straight line, which is deeply frustrating. And also we're starting with a repair cost this patch with 33,000 silver lines. So there is this, and you will lose gun duels versus Hugers that know what you're doing and Marlboroughs that know what you're doing. You can't really close the gap to fire the torpedoes, but when you have matches like this, you don't see the problem, you just see fun. And this is where the love and hate relationship comes. There is nothing in between. Either the ship sucks and just dies and you can't do anything against your opponents and you just feel like a very well protected cruiser, and in other games you even snipe Hugers and Marlboroughs and all these things. I've done it, right? I've done it. So you might see some further footage of that in just a couple of minutes. So that's the Scharnhorst. Let's go to the MiG-23 MF, shall we? That is topic number 4. So in short, in my MiG-23 MF video, I was focusing a bit more on the problems that I have with the systems and the unreliability of the missiles, which are the primary weapon, and with my frustration of basically doing everything right, like positioning and then firing the missile at the right moment, and the missile just not doing anything or not killing anything. And while there was definitely certain mistakes on my behalf, not gonna lie, I'm aware of this, there were the overlaying issues with it just not working and being really frustrating, and me not having a good time with that, and I wanted to point that out. However, in the comment section, a lot of people were then in a nice constructive manner pointing out various different things, what I could try out next time, what I should have done differently, and also the IRST system. And the very next day, actually yesterday, I tried that out and I had significantly more success. And funnily enough, and I don't know why, even the R60 MKs behaved much better, resulting in significantly more hits and significantly more kills as the reason of those single hits. So unlike even the F5s exploded. Don't ask me why, they just did. And so this is why I considered a revisit in the first place. So I'm not perfect, nobody is, and I hope that you get the idea of me learning from the mistakes and actually taking constructive criticism to heart. To the heart, not, you know what I mean. I care about this. So thank you for that. And that brings us to topic number 5, which is significantly more controversial, but I still want to just discuss it till the end. And yeah, it has to do nothing with actually War Thunder, but with a community post that I made on the community tab in YouTube. I was sharing just my experience with having the booster shot or the vaccination number 3 against corona, and some of the points are very interesting. First of all, at the start, I have to make clear that the discussion was significantly more civilized than like half a year ago, and it seems like that a lot more people seem to have realized that the vaccination is not that dangerous and corona is more dangerous. But there were people that had questions, and I was discussing it in a calm way and just pointing out that certain aspects that they pointed out were just not the case or not quite right, etc. And yeah, first of all, for those of you who still think that they can tell me what I post on my quote unquote gaming channel, you're wrong. That is my freedom. That's the same freedom you guys ask for when it comes to getting vaccinated or not, or there being a mandatory vaccination. And that's just my thing, right? I can talk about it. You have the freedom to have another opinion, but you don't have the freedom of telling me what I do and not do when it comes to my channel. Like, if you want to have freedom, then why do you want to limit my freedom? That's just not how it works. I just want to point this out. Just that you're knowing where I'm coming from, right? It's a very simple thing. If you want something, why can't I have that? And I understand everybody that is highly annoyed with the topic. I'm also annoyed with corona being still a thing, which in my opinion could be over if everybody would have the corona vaccination. Cases would be much lower, and that brings me to two very special aspects. I had a discussion with many people, and again it was much more civilized than half a year ago when I did it the last time. And so there were two people. One was sending me an email with various different links and asking a lot of questions. I'm still working on it. I have not forgotten you. Point number one. Point number two, somebody else shared a link with me and just simply asked questions because the text was in German. And for all of you that are interested, there are some numbers. So in that report, there were 123 million doses of vaccines applied up until the start of December alone in Germany, and that there were 1,919 deaths, which were brought in time correlation with the vaccination, and there were just suspecting cases. But there was also the statistical amount of people being vaccinated, and the TLDR version is that the Paul-Ehrlich Institute said that, yeah, the vaccines are safe, and basically, to say it in a rude way, certain people would have died anyway due to other diseases or whatever, and the vaccines can be seen as being safe, and corona is significantly more dangerous. So yeah, 1,919 deaths, which in a time frame of over 6 weeks after the vaccination, including day 1 and day 270, I think it was, after the vaccination. People die of natural causes, that is correct, but the sheer amount is not outstanding, right? So it sounds a lot, roughly 2,000, but it's amongst 123 million. And they were not really distinguishing between the age groups. So if you vaccinate a 90-year-old guy and he dies 6 weeks later, was it really the vaccination? But you can be sure that it's very dangerous to this person to catch corona. That's just a fact. And even for young people, they still cause the pandemic to exist if they are not vaccinated. It's just scientific facts, and you all have the freedom of opinion, but you don't have the freedom of your own facts. That's the problem that we have, and sadly enough, people seem to ask for this to be a thing, right? So it's just a very, very interesting thing, because apparently this needs to be discussed. I don't want it to discuss, but it affects all of us. And just to mention here this, if the cases would be much lower, I would not have taken the third vaccination. If I would see that corona is less dangerous, I would not have taken the vaccination. If more people would at all be vaccinated, I would not have taken the third vaccination, because there is no need for it. Or there would be no need, but at the moment, sadly, there is still a need for it. So that's what I tried to say. And yeah, I know that a lot of people don't want to hear this, but again, it's my freedom to talk about this. And if you don't want to hear it, don't watch the video. You were warned beforehand. So that's just how it is. Freedom works both ways, guys. And that brings us to the last topic, and that is the questions from the last Duck Talks. And yeah, before I answer those, feel free to share with us your questions that you have, and I try to answer them either in the comment section, or I try to answer them yeah, in the next Duck Talks, which hopefully will come in time soon again. So first question comes from Bess Let. Can you make video about King Cobra planes? Please, no one make video about it from long time ago. So apparently the question is if I can make videos about the King Cobra series of planes, or one of them, because apparently no video has been made in quite a long time. Well, I certainly can, but they are not on my priority list, and I think those planes didn't see serious changes in a long time. So yeah, it's not really urgent to make a new one on this for them. And if you see that there's different videos and they're still up to date, why not watch them? There are over 2,000 vehicles in War Thunder, and they are not really that new. So there is that. I hope that answers that question. Then Neon Spiker asks regarding the silver lines that I saved and that I had in the last video, how much of those lines were actually grinded out and how many were gifted by Gaijin? Again, I can proudly say that I have never been given silver lines from Gaijin, and I never exchanged golden eagles for silver lines. I all grinded them by myself. We content creators got 5 million silver lines with this patch because of all the test drives that we got, and I take them as payment for all the ammunition costs that Gaijin stole from me, because that's another topic. So 5 million silver lines were given to me in being a content creator for multiple years, but the millions and millions and millions of them that I have myself, I granted them myself. Then Creator Krisk asks, I have some nice mouse gameplay. Should I send it to you? Will you feature it? Well, again, in the video description you can find my email address to where you can send your gameplay to, or rather the actual replay from your PC. Again, not the server replay. Make a few quick lines about what is so special about the gameplay. Maybe some post-battle results screenshots are always nice. What makes the gameplay special? And yeah, I will have a look at it. There is never any sort of guarantee that I will feature it. I haven't featured anything in a long time because I was busy with other stuff, and also the amount of replays I get sent has dropped quite considerably, I guess also because of that. Then Gavin Earls asks, will there be more sales in December? Well, yes, I answered this already in the comment section when they were announced. I shared those infos with you. And that has been it for this episode of Duck Talks number 81. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you watched the video in its entirety separately, or if you use it as a podcast, that would be really interesting. And that's it for me today. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Why not give the video a like if you did, subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see more, and let me know in the comment section regarding all the topics that I just mentioned. And don't forget to ask any questions if you have some, and we'll see each other on the waves in the skies and on the battlefields of War Thunder.